I want to start where I want to start. I stayed at David's funeral for 2 hours. I sat at the back. I watched his wife. I told my husband I was at yoga. He believed me. David and I worked at the same hospital. He was a radiologist. I am a nurse manager. We started in February of 2022. It was not a thing I had planned. It was a thing that happened in a stairwell after a 14-hour shift, and then it was a thing that happened again 2 weeks later in a Hampton in outside Hartford, and within 6 months it was a structured part of my life. David was married. His wife is named Anne. They had 2 children, a son who was 12 when we started, a daughter who was 9. I have a husband, Tom, and 2 children of my own, a daughter who was 14 and a son who was 11. We did not talk about leaving anyone. That conversation was off the table. David loved Anne in the way husbands of 20 years love wives, not the way I had thought I loved Tom when I was 26, but the way husbands love wives in their 40s when the early intensity has weathered into something durable and quiet. He told me once in the 3rd year that what he and Anne had was not what was missing in his life. He said what was missing was something he could not name. I think he meant me. I think he meant something else too. I did not push. We saw each other in hotel rooms about twice a month. We had a shared calendar. We had a code we used for messages. We had a list of restaurants in 3 counties we would not eat at because someone might recognize us. In March of this year, David was in a car accident on Route 9. He was alone in the car. He was killed at the scene. He was 51. I got the call from a colleague at the hospital who knew we had worked together. She thought I should know. She did not know there had been anything more. I took the call in the car in the grocery store parking lot. I sat there for 50 minutes. I came home. I made dinner. I did not say anything to Tom. The funeral was the following Tuesday. I told Tom I had a yoga class at 5. I drove 40 minutes the other direction. The church was in David's hometown, a small congregational church I had never been inside. I sat at the back. I wore a dark dress that was not too formal. I stayed for the whole service. I watched Anne walk in with her arm through her son's. I watched her sit in the front pew. I watched her cry quietly during the readings, the way a wife of 20 years cries at her own husband's funeral, like a thing she had been afraid of for half her life, and was now, in spite of everything, surviving. The son spoke. He read a poem his father had given him on his confirmation. The daughter did not speak. She sat with her grandmother in the second pew. I did not know either of them by sight. I knew them only from pictures David had shown me on his phone in hotel rooms after. The service ran 90 minutes. The receiving line was outside. I did not get in the receiving line. I had thought about it. I had thought about saying I had worked with him at the hospital. I did not. I stayed at the back. I watched Anne move down the line, hugging strangers, hugging colleagues, hugging the people whose lives had brushed her husband's. I left at 1:45. I drove home. I told Tom yoga had been hard. He nodded. He went back to the laptop. I made dinner. I put the kids to bed. I lay down next to my husband and I did not cry because crying would have been the thing I could not explain, and I have been a person who does not cry for 2 months. Anne sent a card to David's hospital colleagues. The card thanked us for our condolences. The card had Anne's handwriting and a picture of David at the lake with the kids when they were small. The card is in my office drawer at work. I have not thrown it away. What would you have done? Tell me in the comments.